Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Castro, Optavia Health Coach. I am so thrilled to be with you this evening because I have a great topic that is something that I've been challenged with. And I don't know about you, but how about emotions? There was a topic I did a little while back that was called Emotions. Can you trust them? And the outcome of that recording, if you want to go back to it, was yes, emotions you can trust, but sometimes it's our thoughts that can throw us off because they can throw off the perception of our emotions. So that's what we're going to be talking about, is really understanding what are emotions and why are they a wonderful gift versus a curse. Some of us might think it's a curse that we have emotions, and I'm going to explain to you what the difference is on how we handle our emotions. So feel free to chat. There's a little bubble down below, and you can share some of your thoughts as we go through, or your takeaways. I can't see everybody's right now. I want to make sure I stay fully present here, but at the same time, I'm going to be looking occasionally and asking you some questions, all right? So let's get started. I'm basing a lot of what I'm talking about today on the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. This has been an amazing book. And some people will say, well, I'm not a leader. Well, think about it. Who's leading your health journey? That would be you. You have a health coach to guide you, but you're the ultimately the one that's responsible for your journey, no matter what aspect of it. We're about creating well-being in every area of your life. So playing above the line means, and that's something that's talked about in this book over and over, taking responsibilities for our choices, our decisions, and how we handle our reactions instead of blaming and bringing pointing shame or feeling shameful or justifying our behavior. We're coming from a place of just taking responsibility. Why am I doing this? What do I have control over? What things do I not have control over? How could I handle this? So being open to new ideas is another way of playing above the line. Being open to the new ideas that there might be another way to look at what you are thinking or what you're feeling. Have you thought about that? Because that's what we're going to be doing right now. We're going to be helping you see another way of looking at something, specifically your feelings. If you are looking at your feelings in a way that we call above the line, you say, I commit to resisting, judging, and apologizing for my feelings. Now, some of you might interpret that differently than what it means, and we'll go into a little bit more detail here. And then below the line, something we probably want to avoid, but we'll probably shift down below the line every once in a while, it's how quickly we pick ourselves back up and how quickly we recognize it. So below the line is I repress, I avoid, and I withhold my emotions. Any of us do that? I know with chocolate, I use that to suppress or avoid emotions. When I had an emotion, the way I responded to it was to put food in my mouth so I didn't have to deal with it, didn't have to cope with it. It would kind of, for lack of a better way to say, numb the feelings, shove it down. Any of us do that with food, alcohol, poor relationships? How do we stifle or stuff or even deny that we even have feelings? Well, there's a difference between feelings, emotions, and thoughts. So I want you to be clear on that. These are going to be some things we're going to be talking about, because we've learned if you want emotional intelligence, it's a good idea to understand what emotions are before you can be intelligent about them. Does that make sense? If you've never heard of emotional intelligence, it's basically, you've got IQ for your intellect, but this book is talking about there's 3 areas to draw from when making decisions and making life choices and how you handle your life experiences. You not only intellectually look at a situation, you also look at your emotions, your feelings around the situation, and then also the gut. 3 things you're looking at. Now, some of us also might throw in some other factors, the relationally and even spiritually into that equation, but it's those feelings are natural. Knowing how to express them is healthy. Now, some of you might be thinking, yeah, when I'm angry, I tell everybody how angry I am. They sure know it. But is that a healthy way? If it's hurting someone, it might be a good release for you, but how about that other person? So is there a healthier way to release that emotion? Is there a reason for those emotions? Let's look at that. because repressing emotions causes all kinds of issues. If you're repressing it, and I've been known to do it on occasion, I'm human like the rest of us, but I'll tell you, back 14 years ago when I started my journey, a lot of these things were, I was driven by emotions. Physically, it was affecting me. I was having autoimmune disease from inflammation. Stress is one of the major causes of inflammation. So physically, it was truly affecting me. I was feeling tired. I would have mood swings. So that would affect me psychologically, mentally, emotionally. And then people would react to my not handling my emotions well, which would make me feel angry, which would bring on the emotions, and then it would just kind of affect my relationships. Has that happened to you? So are you guys, go ahead and chat in the room. Do you understand what emotional intelligence is? Is this something that you desire in your life? I'm going to take a peek at the chat right now and see what's going on in there. Love hearing about the different things going on in people's lives. Okay, a couple of people saying, yes, emotions, that's something I'm dealing with. So okay, yes, absolutely. Okay, I think we're unanimous on that one. We all deal with those emotions because we're all human. So I am going to go ahead and close that window as you guys have responded so wonderfully in there, and go on to the next one where we talk about when above the line. When you are above the line, this is what it looks like. Your emotions, which are all they are is sensations going through your body. Another way it was worded by the author was it's emotions, it's energy in motion. Think about it. When you have an emotion, you get all excited about something that just, you've ever said, oh, I had chills from that. That's just a sensation going through your body. If you find yourself getting tense, it's just a sensation that went through your body. We're going to talk about where you're going to be feeling it, or where you might feel something when you're expressing a particular emotion or feeling it. So emotions add richness and color to our lives. That's one of the things I think is a major gift. The richness and color. Can you imagine if we didn't have emotions? What would our relationships be like if we didn't feel loving towards someone? If we didn't have those joyful feelings? Even those angry feelings, it just adds a little color to the life. What if there's some fear in your life? What's it doing to protect you? So emotions bond those relationships. Access the heart-centered wisdom. What does that mean? If we are going from a place where we're looking at a wise decision, if you just went by the emotions on your sleeve and you just went with whatever you're feeling, somebody's going to get hurt along the way, and it's probably going to be you as well. But if you come from a place of caring about someone and there is the heart and you are looking at the emotions of things, but you also bring the intellect into it and that gut feeling into it, you're more likely to have that emotional intelligence and the intellectual intelligence, and also, become that wiser person as you go with that gut feeling all combined to take that next decision. Now, sometimes we find ourselves not having time to evaluate all that, but you would be amazed at how quickly our body can tie it all together. That when we become aware, we're much more likely to respond in a way that will be favorable for all concerned eventually. All right, so bring awareness to the present. When you are paying attention to emotions and the sensation in your body and you're aware of it, it'll make you look at what's going on to cause that. You're going to be curious and look for reasons why that emotion's coming through. So it makes you aware here instead of pushing it aside or I'll deal with that later. I can't tell you how many times I pushed it aside thinking later. Procrastination is a very great skill set of mine that I'm challenged to work on a daily basis. And I could even do it with emotions, making those healthy habits. And, sometimes I get a little frustrated, which would be an emotion, because sometimes it doesn't happen the way I want it to, no matter what efforts I put in place. And if I respond with my frustration in a way that takes me down a path I don't want to go, that's not going to be serving to me nor other people. So we want to just kind of look at those emotions. They're a good sign that something's not quite right. They also lend clarity to the situation. If you know what emotion you're feeling, you're going to understand a little bit more about what's going on around you or within you to know how to respond once you have that understanding and awareness. So ways we can avoid expressing our emotions, I think we all know a lot of them. Before I show any of them, How do you avoid expressing your emotions? I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat again. I want to see what's going on in there. How do you avoid expressing your emotions? And somebody asked, how do you mute? Everybody's automatically muted. So that's why we have the chat. Overeating, walk away, silence. Oh gosh, yeah, silent treatment, hiding out, shut down, stop talking, walk away, hide, eat chocolate. There's my friend right there probably. Deep breaths, wonderful. You've been watching some of these Habits of Health calls. Change the subject. That's interesting. Laughter. So hide it, that nervous laugh. Yeah, no, not answering somebody when you're maybe upset with them. Oh my gosh, you guys have some great, sarcastic. That's an interesting one. Yeah, ice cream, picking up a book. Oh, there we go, picking up a book. That would be good, unless it's one that's just totally taking you off into fantasy world and find yourself relying on that. You can actually take yourself off of the track by doing that as well. Yoga, we got some good things, but how about how you avoid it? Are you avoiding expressing by doing yoga, or are you learning to express it? I see some ways. You guys are already talking about how you are handling the emotion. You guys are ahead of the game on that one. Push it away, blow it up, escape with TV. Oh my gosh, escaping with TV. How about Facebook? Anybody use Facebook to escape? You might use that as an excuse for, well, I'm just checking on this one thing, or maybe it's business related and you're saying, oh, I'm just doing things that will help with my business, or and we find ourselves 2 hours later and we don't even know what we've been doing on there. Anybody do that? Facebook, I see that. Playing games, which could be good or bad. It's avoiding. If you find yourself doing something so much and it's taking you away from what you really want to accomplish, you're avoiding. Thanks for all the feedback on that one, guys. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and go on through the slides and show you a couple that I was thinking of. And a lot of you hit the nail on the head with a lot of them. Eating is a way to avoid. Obviously, we eat to be healthy, but we can use it to also stifle. Like I said, with chocolate in particular for myself. Spending. Did anybody think of that? How many of them you feel like, oh, I've got to go buy a pair of new shoes? I have a friend that might be going, right now as I say that. How about going online and doing or TV, home shopping network? I don't know if that's still around or not, but just different ways of going on and spending money you don't have, which could even be gambling. If you don't have it from excess to be able to go do it for leisure, then maybe a problem. You're staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning because you just think you're going to make that next win as you're hiding from what really is going on in your life. How about drinking? And we're talking drinking alcohol. You go right ahead and drink your water. And that actually will help you with those emotions if it's a little challenging and it's not a proper time to express something. Sleeping. Sleeping is a great way to avoid. If you see yourself sleeping a little too much or laying in bed watching TV, probably avoiding. Social media, unless you have some health issues that keep you in bed, which is where my experience was, but I also used it as my victim hangout. So just evaluate what's going on. Social media, we talked about that. Busyness. How many of you keep busy with little idle things to avoid facing something you need to, especially a conversation that might be difficult? Anybody have that? I've definitely been guilty of that one too. How many people do you hear say, oh, I'm too busy to do that, or I'll take care of this after this, but I've got a lot of things I'm doing today. When in reality, it's probably out of avoidance. So just evaluate for yourself, and you might be able to recognize it in other people, not to point it out. You're avoiding. That would not be helpful either. You might stir up an emotion in them that might not be a positive one. So understanding emotions. This is where we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Simply, emotions are a sensation occurring in the body. That's, if you just look at it that way, that emotion in motion, that energy in motion, or that sensation going through your body, just like when you get hungry or thirsty, it's just our body's reaction to something that's telling you, hey, you might want to pay attention to me right now. Enjoy it. Let your emotions be enjoyed and released. And what that means is literally an emotion takes about 90 seconds to go through the body. And we're thinking, wait a second, I've been dealing with this one thing for 9 years, not 90 seconds. And what it is, the sensation lasts that long, but then our thoughts start kicking in. Well, what they meant by this was that. See, that's the way they always are. And then da-da-da-da-da. Anybody do that? I said, almost like I've ever thought that before. Yep, I have. And I still occasionally can do that, but I just catch myself sooner and start thinking in a different way that takes me back above the line. So enjoyed and released, meaning enjoy the emotion, even the negative ones. Fear, think about it. Jumping out of an airplane is kind of a fearful situation, but also it gets me kind of excited. I'm going to have this adrenaline rush coming. And it's like, enjoy that fear. That fear actually can turn into courage when faced with, just take it on. And when you let that 90 seconds of emotion just release through you, now the jumping out of an airplane might last a little longer than that, but I think when I was doing it anyway, the fear turned into being ecstatic. I was thrilled about it. So what we're going to do is the next picture, I believe it is going to be how to locate that emotion where it shows up in your body physically. Then you would describe the emotion of what it feels like in your body. Just what kind of sensation, like those chills, like I was talking about, or tightness, those kind of things. Breathe. So as you locate it, describe it, then breathe through it with those deep abdominal breaths. Slow in, hold, slow out, hold. And do that several times. Now, we don't always have the time to do that right then and there, but I've actually done it on a call before. And so if I could still do a presentation and do it, I think you could find a way to do it as well. So move. What happens is literally if I shifted when I'm feeling angry, it's amazing how that alone, after going through that series of things, can just change my way of thinking by the physical adjustment to my body and then vocalize the feeling. That sounds really weird to some people, and it was weird as I did it myself, and it's the part that's a little more challenging when you're a group of people. But if you're feeling frustrated, letting out a little under your breath, believe it or not, okay, I'm frustrated, I'm feeling it in my body, describe it, okay, I'm feeling a little bit of tightness, okay, breathe, then move my body. It's amazing how it just kind of, then wonder about it with curiosity. Why was I feeling frustrated? Don't even have to know the answer. Just wonder why that came along. Just curious. Can you imagine how different our emotions and our responses to it would be if we looked at it with curiosity? What is this here to teach me? Why am I frustrated? Maybe it's because I don't have a great relationship with that person. Maybe that's something I want to work on. Maybe I'm seeking approval and they're not giving it to me. What if you started evaluating that? Okay, so basically it's recognize the emotion, release it, wonder, and learn. Recognize it, release it, wonder, and learn. Clarity comes with that. I'm going to look at the responses again. What are you guys thinking? I'm going to go ahead and chat. Any thoughts here? Oh, I hope you can save this chat, Angie. This will be great. Warm cup of tea, some of the good things that people are doing. Now, it's not to stifle it, but it's just to recognize it. I'm talking now about even before you get to the point of taking a drink of tea. We're talking 90 seconds. Your tea will already be made. If you could locate it. Love the heart and body and the minds. Okay, so all right, being able to recognize, release, etc. So recognize, release, wonder, and learn. Now I kind of summarized it by that, but it's basically, when I say recognize, it's locating and describing, then releasing it through the breathing and the movement, then vocalizing it. So all of that is releasing it, and then wonder about it with curiosity. Wonder why I was feeling that way. And then learn. What is it here to teach me? I really stayed on this slide because this is the part I want you to get the practical how to apply. And then pretty soon, it'll just become so natural you're not even thinking about it. And this has been transforming to me the last, I think it's like 4 or 5 months that I've been aware of this. And then practicing it with other people and then turning around and teaching it to other people just reinforces it in me. So I'm hoping that's what you guys end up doing as well to help the people around you at the same time. So, and it was cool. Somebody says they thought that I was so calm. Have you always been like this? No. Okay. And you can ask my husband. I can even be uncalm anytime, any day. But you know what? I handle so much more and still stay calm when in the past, the littlest thing would have got me going. So now I can handle so much more on my plate, enjoy so many more relationships, enjoy so many more experiences because I've learned to work through those emotions and just accept them. God-given gifts to us. That's what I say. Enjoy them. There's one I'm going to tell you about that a lot of you might really be enjoying. Yes, I am not perfect. That is for sure. Ask my husband. Don't ask my husband. He'll tell you no. He would say that, boy, have I worked towards improving and being the best. I'm going to put it the way Dr. A loves to put it. I want to be the best version of myself so I can turn around and help others be the best version of themselves. So I strive on a regular basis to grow and develop and work on myself so that I, in turn, can do that for others. And in turn, they give it back to me, and we just kind of resonate off of each other, and it's a wonderful cycle to be in. How many are in the drama triangle where it's the opposite? You get mad at somebody, well, they're going to be mad at me, and da-da-da-da-da. And then who benefits from that? So I went from victim to victor by learning some of these skills that we're sharing. I like the visualizing. Visualizing is huge. Practicing going into a situation where you know it might be emotional. I love somebody saying they're finding their joy in some of the ways that they've done that. Man, I can't even keep up with all the wonderful messages going in. And so we're going to save this. I want to review it later and see some of your thoughts on that. Fantastic. So being the best version of ourselves. So you guys are doing that. So recognizing, like, one of the things, I'm hoping my husband will come rescue me because I forgot to put a timer out. So I'm not sure where the time is. So hopefully somebody can fill me in on that. Oh, could you type it in the chat and tell me what time it is? East Coast time. All right. Ooh, Linda, you are right on top of things. Now my husband did it too. All right. So we're doing great. This is perfect. So recognize, breaking it down, before you can become emotionally intelligent, you must be emotionally literate. And that's what we've been talking, but I'm going to now show you some pictures to where you can understand it even more clearly, because I'm a very visual person. I like it when I can hear it, see it, and do it, I got it. I'm hoping you guys are the same way. All right, so here on the body is the different emotions that hang out. And one of them that's probably the most common for a lot of people, it was for me. There are two actually that were the most common in the past for me. Anger. Have you noticed if you feel your jaw tightening up or the back of your neck across the shoulders? Anybody feel that? You find yourself tensing up or just, it's probably anger or a variation of it. It could just be a little frustrated with someone. Just it's a variation of it, but the main feeling is anger to different degrees. The other one I felt the most was fear. Still, that is one that I find myself dealing with at times, but so much easier now. I have learned that fear is a natural process, a natural emotion. I'm just curious about it. And through it, I become courageous regardless of the fear, doing it anyway. Have you ever heard that? Face the fear and do it anyway is the definition of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. If you're feeling in your belly, little butterflies, like they say before you go on to like a Habits of Health call to do a presentation, a little bit of butterflies going on there, that's a form of fear. To some degrees, it might be that it's time to flight, or it's just a little bit of a little uneasiness about, am I going to do well? Then sadness. Felt a lot of that. Sadness. Eyes high, where you're going to feel it in your eyes, throat. You ever get that big gulp in your upper throat? So those are the places we typically feel sadness in the upper chest, possibly as well. So the one that is in the middle, joy, I love that it's in the middle because that's where I really want to focus. My joy is there, but sometimes I don't have control over it. Again, it's just a sensation. And I'm hoping I want to experience more joy. I am on a mission to find ways to experience more joy. And I've noticed a lot of it's my attitude that will affect it. But you're going to feel that in the core and the spine. And then the last one, I'm almost embarrassed to even say it, is sexual feelings. And you, believe it or not, you feel sexual feelings in erogenous zones. And if you don't know what erogenous zones are, talk to your mommy and daddy about it, because I'm not going to explain it today, okay? And so those are the areas, and it's a tingly sensation. And it could be, in areas of your body that kind of let you know something's going on. And that can be a very positive feeling as well, and used in the right way. So I'm going to show you emotions, the difference between the above the line and below the line. Here, somebody's very upset, anger, they're blaming, they're feeling righteous, and they're very critical. Anybody do this? Maybe not to that extent and so obvious, but inside, are you seething a little bit? Versus bringing awareness and clarity that something needs to change for the greatest good. In other words, when you feel that emotion of anger, is it because you're using it to blame, or are you using it to say, I wonder what's going on, that I'd feel angry? Maybe it's time that something needs to change. It might be change that relationship, might be change you so the relationship changes, might be to change jobs. It might be that's what that's about, being curious. Why am I feeling angry? Let it go through the body, sensation, release it, shift, and then be curious. Wonder what's going on. Why am I feeling fear? Yeah, fear is in the stomach. Okay, so that's fear. The next one, anxiety for things disconnected from the present. That's the kind of fear that can kind of take us off when we're feeling that fear and we go, ooh, because we're worried about the thing that might be happening in the future, or what if they say this, or what if they're thinking that, or what if this doesn't work out, or what if I fall off the edge of the cliff? Or it could be just the opposite. Fear is going to be that place where I just deny it. It's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. Versus a healthy fear is the body's way of saying, wake up! There's something you need to address. You need to be fully present for this. You're going to fall off of a tree. What are you going to do? So healthy, you can see how fear could be extremely helpful there. So sadness. This is the energy from a loss. Felt loss, I'm sure you have too. Something once meaningful is going away. It could be a job, a spouse, you lose a family member. Sadness. It could be something as simple as having to give up your favorite food because you're on this health journey where you want to make better eating choices. Loss can cause sadness. Hanging on to old ideas and said, I can't let go of it. I just in denial, or I just can't face that. Hanging on to those old ideas, people and dreams can cause sadness. When they're ready to go away, or they need to go away, one of the two, and you're feeling sadness and not dealing with it, versus if you do it in a healthy way, it's time to let go of something that was once meaningful. Whether it's by choice or not, you letting go. It's giving clarity because you thought it through. Joy. This is something that you want to celebrate, something to be celebrated. And that could be, oh gosh, I don't even have to go there. You guys can think of ways to celebrate. What brings you guys joy? What brings you joy? One of my favorite things that bring me joy are things that bring me exhilaration, especially when I get to do it with someone else. I jumped out of the airplane with another person to celebrate her 100-pound weight loss. I get to go out jet skiing, and my favorite times are when I have somebody behind me where I'm showing them how to do those donuts and we're jumping over the waves, and then I teach them how to take control and they're doing it too. That brings me joy. So circumstantial circumstances would be if things are going well. These great things are happening to me. I got that new job, and you're happy because it's external. These things are happening to you. Versus what happens if you have authentic joy? Meaning it doesn't mean that it's happening to you. It's a deep experience from within that gives you that internal joy. Something, the attitude, something about you're grateful for, something the way you live that brings you a sense of joy. That one I want to last longer than 90 seconds in my body. How about you? So feeling good about yourself, travel, those things are bringing you joy. Riding your bike with your husband, Zumba. That's a fun one. I'm not coordinated enough for that one. Optavia feelings bring you joy. The new ones. Oh, okay. So you get some variety in there. Okay. So grandkids, my blessings. Yes. A grateful heart, hiking, backpacking, all kinds of wonderful things. You guys have some great answers tonight. Okay. So the next thing is the sexual feelings. That one makes me blush a little bit, but that's how we got our two kids. And most people think that sexual feelings are only about sexual things, but really what the definition from the author is the energy of creativity and creation. It's that when it starts welling up and you get those little tingly feelings, it could be because you just had this cool idea. Oh, and I can't wait to put this into effect. And, oh, did you think about that? Oh, what about this thing? Those are also the same sensations in the body. It might be tingling that way too. So creativity is stifled or misdirected when you think, oh no, that's not appropriate. It might be that it's just misdirected. And then there's times when, like, I might say hello to my husband, and it's a very beneficial thing for both of us. But again, it's more of an external thing at this point, or avoided, versus stimulation for the birth of a new idea and innovation. The stimulation, those sexual feelings are just about getting excited about something new and innovative. And who knows, maybe even giving birth after that. Sorry, below the line comment. All right, so what do you want? You want richness and color to life? I do. How about closer relationships when you can have the emotion that you let some of those things just go right on through and you feel it and just say, curious, why am I feeling that sensation? Do I feel close to this person? I feel joy when I'm with them. That's somebody I want to be around more. Heart-centered wisdom. Again, heart and brain together along with that gut feeling to know what that next decision is going to be that's going to be a healthy one towards being the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Awareness of the present. This is huge. That's what the author means by conscious leadership, meaning being aware of your thoughts, being aware of your feelings, be aware of others and your place on this earth, being present. Clarity to the situation. It brings clarity when you have emotions. You go through the steps to be able to come to the point of, what am I learning from this? What am I learning from it? So recognizing it. You guys remember that part? Anybody that know the next one? What's your response to it? Are you wondering? And are you learning? So is that what you want, is to use those emotions to really be fully present in your life and experience it? Because when you recognize, release, wonder, learn, that's where authentic joy comes from. So emotions and forward motion lead to that authentic joy, which I wish for all of you. And I just thank you so much for being on. And I'm going to hang on for just a minute as I read a couple of these other comments. Oh, lots of thank yous at this time. How do we watch from the beginning? There's a recorded call that you can go to called, if you go to YouTube, Habits of Health Zoom Calls. YouTube, Habits of Health Zoom Calls. If somebody wants to type that in there too, those are all the recordings, and this will be on within a couple of days. So you can watch it again, and please share it with people too. We want them to really experience this part, because if you can share this with others and they're coming from a better place emotionally, can you imagine how better our relationships will be? So becoming the best version of ourselves to help others do the same for themselves. And on that note, I'm going to say goodnight. Have a good one. Bye-bye, guys.